She's got the kindest heart in the whole world.
Passionate, committed, and a true professional.
Strong advocate for Hispanic children, for all children really that are learning a second language.
And I say, what if I don't make it? And then she says, think positive, you are gonna make it.
I see her as a really, really bright light, huge light. Not a little one, but a huge light.
She said, well, imagine I went from picking grapes and here I am at a Harvard campus.
Brilliant. She's my hero.
Yesmi is what they call an ELL coordinator, and she's in charge of a certain area of the Clark County School District, working with students where English is a second language. Her responsibility is enormous. When you think about an area in the Clark County School District, you're talking about anywhere from 60 to 80 schools in which she's responsible for delivering those resources and services to those schools, with various needs at each school, various needs for each individual student.
I was an English language learner myself. I did not speak English until I was in second grade. My parents migrated from Mexico. It was very difficult. We were very poor. We lived in, a little trailer. It wasn't easy. And my parents actually migrated to Fresno because there's a lot of farm work to do. So pick grapes, nectarines, peaches, and all of the above. Everybody had a job. So depending on that age, some people were picking grapes, the others were laying out the trays, the other ones were spreading it. We started maybe 3 years old, 4, 5 years old. That's just part of our life. Every day we'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, we'd go pick grapes, we'd come home, we would shower, and then we'd go to school. My parents would be there to pick us up in the afternoon. We'd go back to the fields and we'd work till 8 o'clock, come home, do homework, and go to sleep. You don't think about, oh, I have to work. You just know you do. You develop a certain work ethic. You learn quickly that life is not easy, and if you don't want to have this job for the rest of your life, you have to be educated. Education was thrown at you every single day. Mom, we don't want to work. Well, then you should be educated. Mom, this is hard. Well, that's why you need an education. I went to UC Davis, and there's a huge migrant population that comes there because there's the tomato fields and garlic and that type of produce. They bring people, and that's where they house them so that they could work the fields. Some of them weren't sending their children to school because, they have to work out in the field. So I'd go into these camps and educate the children, and I teach the parents English at night. I realized that when we were out in the fields, my parents allowed us to go to school, but there were a lot of parents who did not allow their children to go to school because that meant money for them. And so now I'm ensuring that schools are providing those services for those students so that they're successful.
For a lot of these kids, if you don't make that connection and understand where they're coming from and make school relevant to them, why it's important now, regardless of everything that's going on at home, then they're just your next dropout.
We need to give apoyo. We need to bring people up. We need to hold them up. We need to sustain them as they're going through making their decisions about what to do in their life.
Yesmi is a true example of a success story of an investment. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund invested in her, hoping that the return will be greater than the investment. And this is a true example of that return is greater than the investment.
People give money. They don't see the return. Very rarely do they get a letter from people like myself saying thank you. And what they don't realize is that they are providing people like me with a different life. Without the support from scholarships, I don't know where I'd be. I may be married picking grapes with my own family. But as a result of their generosity, I am now an educator, educating families, educating their children, and hopefully providing the resources so that they too can have successful children.
I want to personally, as an educator for over 22 years, personally thank the Hispanic Scholarship Fund for what they continue to do for young people.
Thank you, HSF.